Yo, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Joe Emilio Show. I'm your host, Joe Emilio, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about why gold is not a bad idea to invest in, and we're also going to chat about the ANC and their new policies. Are they new? Are they not? Or is it the same old, and a lot more coming up. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. All that and a lot more coming up. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. Those of you that are tuning in, it is Tuesday evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Joe Emilio Show is back. Hope you guys have had so far a good week, if not too bad. My week's been okay thus far. Not been too bad. It's been all right. It's been okay. It could have been better if Cyril addressed us last night, and I didn't expect anything, right? I really didn't expect much. I was like, it's the same old probably. And apparently he's got some new ideas, and we're gonna go through those ideas in a little bit. There was also things released recently this past week about the ANC and their plans for the future of South Africa, which we're going to go through as well. We're going to talk a bit about the basic income grant, and we're going to talk a bit about the solar levy that people have been freaking out about. Apparently, it is not true, and you'll see why there's quotation marks or open close quotes in a moment. And government is pushing ahead with something, which I'm going to go into just now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go into the first. Well, actually, no. I'm going to wait a little bit until we got some viewers. I don't know. It was a bit of a rocky start this evening because I started the stream. I started a stream by accident. It wasn't this stream, and then I had to stop, and so now there's probably confusion happening all over the place. But hopefully people will tune into this one and be able to see it and partake in the conversation, I hope. I'm just double checking, making sure everything is okay on the YouTube side of things, and it is. So that is good. All right, so might as well get this show started. First headline to look at, ladies and gentlemen, is ANC discussion papers reveal the government's party dystopian vision of South Africa's future. Even this person who's writing this article says dystopian. It's not a good start. It's not a good start. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire article, but there are a few things that need to be addressed. Starting with, the ANC does not simply want to govern South Africa. So they don't want to just govern South Africa, guys. It wants to be the leader of society to spearhead moral regeneration and fight back against social decadence. What does that mean? We're going to get into that, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Robert King. How are you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. So I'm okay. So blah 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 blah. Okay, so here's the first big thing. First of all, their national policy conference is scheduled to be held at Nasrec in Johannesburg next week. against obligations of the ANC's employees who have not yet been paid their June salaries. But they're still going ahead. So the staff were like, no, please don't. We still haven't been paid. Rather pay us our salaries. And the ANC's like, nope, we must talk about our policies. We will get back to you next month. I mean, this is what they're doing. They scheduled the conference. The conference is going ahead and will continue its business while the ANC tries to find donations to fund the staff salaries. So they don't have money for staff, okay? And I want you guys to remember this as we move on in some of these points. So, okay, Thabo Mbeki, ex-president, criticized the ANC. As a matter of fact, all right, as a matter of fact, we don't have a national plan to address these challenges. There is no national plan to address the challenges of poverty, unemployment, inequality. It doesn't exist. The plan doesn't exist. So, there's no plan, guys. In other words, there's no plan. All you people that are worried about jobs, that you're worried about poverty or inequality, there's no plans from the ANC. It doesn't exist. They're just winging it at this stage. And here's one of the biggest things in this paper that they put out. Okay, just bear with me, okay? But because public sector workers cannot be sent to join the 30 to 40% of South Africans in the unemployment queue, one suggestion is that these state employees should be assisted with seed capital and support to establish their own small, medium, and micro enterprises. So in other words, right, because some people, okay, that are on these grants or whatever can't get to SASA or whatever, right? Or can't even get to their jobs or whatever, struggle to get to their work, okay? Because these people have to travel so far and it's a challenge for them, ANC's genius plan is to say, you know what, we're going to give you money. For those of you who can't make it to your work, or you can't make it to the SASA queue, we're just going to give you money to start your own business. Yeah, because that's what people are going to do, right? They're just going to start their own business. That's just what's going to happen, right? They're just going to put money into the economy, right? And what do people do when they get money, man? Like, if you give them money for free, nothing, right? People usually just go on a binge. I mean, this is lunacy, really. And even the article says where the money would be found for this venture is unclear. Yes, because ANC doesn't have any money, as I discussed in the beginning of this article. They don't have money to pay their own staff, yet they want to give money to half of South Africa who can't make it to the SASA queue. So, okay, fine. That's one way to bankrupt the country. And we all know, I don't know where this money is going to come from, but wherever it comes from, select few are going to get it, and most of it will be taken by the ANC. We know this, okay? This is what they do, right? Furthermore, there is a need for a national space policy. That's just got corruption written all over it. I don't even have to go into that. We all know. Yeah, because South Africa just needs to get into that space race, right? We need to get in there. We need to send a South African to the moon for our own research. Yeah, of course. No, I believe that. That makes perfect sense. Ran against one of this blah blah blah. So there's some interesting things here that I want to just bring up as well. So apparently, in the same paper, the ANC voices concern that the decline in quality journalism in South Africa has the potential to distort the hegemony of, of the ANC and the alliance, which is SACP and COSATU, as the true leader of the National Democratic Revolution. So, in other words, because mainstream media, corporate media, is starting to actually do real journalism, the ANC is not very happy with it, and neither is the Tripartite Alliance. Well, boo hoo, guys. Um, okay. So the alarming implication is that high quality media would present the ANC as entitled to govern South Africa indefinitely. So in other words, if if it was good journalism, then they would say like ANC should run forever. Um, the same sense of entitlement to power is evident in the following description of local coalition politics. The bitter reality is that the ANC has been kept out of government by the growing phenomenon of small opposition parties ganging up to keep the ANC out of office. This is democracy, my friends. This is what you guys claim to fight for, to liberate your people, to allow your people to vote. Now your people are voting against you because you guys suck at what you do. And now you're whining like little babies. Oh, we're going to lose power. No. It's never their fault, right? It's never their fault. Everybody else's fault but theirs, right? And then the most alarming part that is in this paper, all right, is let me just, perhaps the most worrying implication of the policy papers is that the ANC may be fundamentally uncomfortable with a multi-party democracy, as well as deeply paranoid. The coalitions keeping the ANC out of power in various metros, the paper stated, are on a crusade to obliterate the defending goals of our national transformation project, and all declare the demise of the ANC as the only primary reason they exist. So in other words, they're saying that these parties that are out to get the ANC, the only reason why they exist is to dethrone the ANC. It's not the only reason why they exist. They exist because you guys, again, can't do your job. You're corrupt, you're incompetent, and people are fed up. There's load shedding, there's record high unemployment, right? Inflation is rising. Like, the list can go on and on and on and on and on. Municipalities are falling apart, the grid is collapsing. And you are surprised that you've got other parties, which, by the way, again, you fought for democracy, okay, in your liberation quest, okay? Now it's coming back to bite you in the bum because you haven't been doing your job and the voters are upset with you. And you're like, no, guys, we're not the bad guys here. These people are the bad guys. They're trying to like dethrone us and it's preventing us from doing our jobs. No, for the past 28 years, you have been failing. All you've been doing is milking South Africa for every last cent that it has. And you're going to continue to do so. And nobody trusts you anymore. Nobody trusts you. That's it. An ideology onslaught against ANC using all forms of media persists, claims the paper. Unsanctioned sharing of crime news and reporting needs managing. Okay, so now they're basically calling that they want to censor people, right? They just want to say, no. People aren't allowed to say this. People aren't allowed to say that. We are now going to control the narrative completely. Okay, that's democracy, right? That. Okay. Yeah. And then they still say here, right? That the ANC's priority has to be the improvement of the quality of lives of people rather than on a rather than often narrow internal party focus. Which, yes, it should be, but who knows if it's going to actually translate that way. And let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that basically this what the ANC also wants is a one-party state. Oh yeah, they want this. It's written somewhere here. I've just Here it is. The fact that social media is used to precisely the purpose, blah, blah, political party, South Africa appears to have occurred. Okay, so this state of affairs is indeed untenable if the ANC must strive to be the leader of our society. Okay, so that's one little hint at their little, we need to be the only people to rule this place. But I mean, it's insane. I mean, even here, there's the headline: "Yearning for one party state." That's basically what they want. They want a one party state. That's not a democracy, by the way. Just I'm letting you guys know, in case you didn't know. That's not a democracy. But anyway, this article will set the tone for the next few articles that I've got, and I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. So we've got the basic income grant, ladies and gentlemen, is making a comeback. But apparently there's a study out there that says that if the basic income grant could drive South Africans to immigrate, study says. And it's true. I mean, just read this. Implementing the basic income grant could slow economic growth and likely lead to the immigration of taxpayers, according to Intellidex. Intellidex estimates that personal income tax would need to be raised by 9% and 19% if it was used as a vehicle to raise funds for the grant. VAT would need to be increased by 14% and 29%, meaning that an effective increase of about 2 percentage points from its current level of 15%, while corporate tax would need to be increased by between 24 to 47%. A lot of people are going to be moving. If this happens, a lot of people are going to be moving. I might be one of them. Zach, I'll be seeing you in Florida. I see you're in the comments, Zach. Thank you for tuning in. And hello, Matthew. Good to see you again. So yeah, I mean, this is some serious stuff, guys. I mean, the article basically just repeats the points that I just spoke about now. But I mean, can you imagine that's like 17% for tax. 17%. What? For a basic income grant, basically. Basic income. And I'm not at all for it. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm not at all for it. I think it's stupid. I think there are other ways to get people out of poverty. All this is going to do is create more of a gap. It's going to destroy the middle class, and you're just going to have people who either have money or don't have money. That's what's going to happen. And you're only going to almost... It's that old analogy, right? Teach a man to fish and he'll... Wait, what's it? Give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll live for a lifetime. You're not teaching a man to fish when you give them money. You're just giving them the fish. And they come back to you for more fish. But that's the point, right? The ANC wants you to come to them for the fish because if they have the fish, they have the vote, right? I saw an article recently. Let me see if I can find it, actually, before because this is just incredible. I don't know if I can find it now. Hold on. I should probably put South Africa on there. Let me just switch that while I find this. Okay. Ooh. South Africa. Come on, man. I don't know what the hell to freaking search here. Okay, this is showing me nothing. Why? Yes. Well, here's a headline that says they want the universal basic income grant to be 1,500 rand. So that's a bit of a problem. Hold on. South Africa. Just bear with me, guys, because this is actually, I should have saved this article when I saw it, and now. Okay, plan B. Plan B. Plan B. Let's see here. I've got to find it here somewhere now. I'm pretty sure. No, man. I made a tweet about it. That's weird. What the hell? Sorry, guys. I really want to find this. Everybody talks in this damn thing. Wait, here it is. Okay. That's why. It was a video, not a headline. But same thing, okay? So have a look at this, okay? We're talking about increase of, what was it? The basic income grant, or they want the basic income grant to be implemented. All right, now take a look at this, all right? The income threshold for the social relief, let me just, sorry, let me just do that. All right. So the income threshold of the social relief of distress grant is being increased from 350 Rand to 600 Rand, aligning it to the national poverty line. Okay. But in this guy, during the interview, let me actually, no. It says nobody thinks that I'm lying here. Okay. Let's just, can you guys hear it? Okay, right there, I see now that you guys can't hear it. I'm sorry. But right there, he said, wait. $1,335. All right, he's like, no. This is all good that it's increased to, that they're gonna get an increase to 600, but they actually want 1,335. That's how much they want the increase to be. All right. Now, as I tweeted when I first saw this, I was like, remember that whole like 500 billion Rand that went missing, right? I'm willing to bet that maybe this is where the money's going. I'm speculating, of course. I don't know for sure. I have no evidence to back this up. But I mean, hey, if the ANC implements this, if the ANC makes the grants to 1,335, they had to have gotten the money from somehow, and we know that they don't have money. So perhaps this is their way of buying votes in 2024. Either way, it's pretty messed up. So, yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, basic income grant could be a thing of the future, and South Africa is in big trouble if this is implemented. I just We already taxed to death. So, yeah. I don't know what to make of this one. And then Ramaphosa says that he has a plan to end load shedding, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look. He addressed this last night. Here are his what he said in point form. The first one, ladies and gentlemen, is boost recruitment of skilled workers in ESCOM and address sabotage and theft in utility. Now, let me also say that some of these suggestions are good, okay? But wait, okay? So, improve logistics to ensure that diesel-fired turbines are supplied in a timely fashion. Allow ESCOM to buy excess power from private producers. Import more power from countries in the region. Implement a program to incentivize the efficient use of power to cut demand by 600 gigawatts. Easing local content requirements so that renewable power projects are awarded in the so-called bid window 5 can go ahead. Nobody knows what the hell that means. Boosting the size of 6 bid window and expediting further rounds. Announcing a plan to deal with ESCOM's debt before October. Okay, so the last one is like stupid. Because they're still going to announce a plan, all right? They don't have a plan yet, but they're going to announce it. They're going to go back to the table, they're going to back to their meetings, and they're going to announce a meet, like a thing, right? Where this is like whatever, okay? There's more. Taxpayers probably going to cut the bill. Let's just be honest, okay? All of these are besides the last 3. All of these, let me highlight these, okay? Because I don't understand the last 3 or the last, like these 2 is like, okay, it sounds good, but I'm not entirely sure what they mean by it. But these ones, okay, sound great. They sound great. But is it going to happen? Remember, Cyril Ramaphosa has been promising that he's going to fix ESCOM since 2015, ladies and gentlemen. Since 2015, he's been saying, oh, I've got ideas and I'm going to fix it. And yet he doesn't. The question is, okay, cool. You have the ideas to fix it, but are you going to implement it? And I wouldn't hold my breath, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't hold my breath. I would just... No. I don't think there's going to be a turnaround. I don't think he's going to implement any of this stuff. I mean, he might implement 1 or 2 things, but that's about it. We are on our own, all right? That's just how it is right now, okay? And don't wait and don't rely on Cyril or the ANC to fix this problem. They're the ones that got us here in the first place, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So looking to them for a solution is like being, I don't know, attacked by... it's like having your cell phone stolen, right? And then you catch the assailant that stole your cell phone. And then you're like, oh, but you broke my cell phone when you stole it. You need to pay for it. It's the whole reason why he stole your cell phone in the beginning is because he doesn't have any money, so how is he going to pay for your cell phone? This is exactly what the ANC is doing to us, all right? Next headline. Apparently, people were outraged by a over 900 Rand charge that ESCOM was going to charge the people who have solar panels or who aren't using solar panels. I don't know. Some kind of solar levy or whatever was going on. Apparently, it's a lie. Apparently, it's not true. All you need to read is this. The idea that solar users would be charged a special levy or penalty is misleading. Only if approved, fixed charges would apply to anyone who is connected to the national grid without any discrimination between municipal or solar users, which by necessity would include solar users who are still grid tied. So in other words, they're going to TV license it, which what I mean by that is, ladies and gentlemen, ANC or SABC rather, is trying to implement a TV license tax, which means that whether you own a TV or not, whether you own a computer or not, whether you own a monitor or not, whether you own anything or not, you're going to be taxed for TV or for the TV license. It sounds like this is what's going to happen. Whether or not you own one or not, whether or not you have one or not, whether or not you hide one or not, you're going to be taxed for solar. Like, that's pretty much it. There's going to be a fee. I think here it is. Admitted that solar users would likely see their fixed fee slightly higher than ordinary municipal users to account for their higher demand, administration, and supply costs. Okay, so I misspoke there. If you have a solar, then you're gonna get an extra little fee on your bill. This is that's basically, it's just a fee. Just a fee. Oh, you own solar? Well, here's a little fee because you own solar. Just a little bit of a fee, like 150 rand probably, right? But anyway, I don't know what the amount is. No, they don't even mention it in the article. But yeah, that's what's happening with that, ladies and gentlemen. So we won't pay 900 rand, right? But there will be an added fee to your monthly bill. I can't anymore with this news. Anyway, moving on. Government pushing ahead with new state-owned company. Yes, you heard me correctly. Government pushing ahead with new state-owned company. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There's another SOE in the pipeline. And wait until you hear what this SOE does. No, it's not a second ESCOM. No, it's not another Denel. No, it's not another Transnet. No, it's not even got to do with water. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an SOE to control all SOEs. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You can't. My brain hurts. My brain just hurts. I just literally went through a few articles explaining how the ANC has no money. And they want to create this group. Okay. And it's going to be called Holdco. All right, that's the ingenious name of this SOE, is called Holdco. Okay. And so here it is. Establish a centralized shareholding company to help it control existing state-owned enterprises in the country. Okay, this is what they want to do. All right. Holdco is likely to entail the following: a holding company that is 100% owned by the state. This is anybody knows the road to communism, right? This is exactly what they are supposed to, well, this is exactly what they do. Okay. This is like, I mean, it's supposed to be handed over to the people, but after this, tyranny. An active shareholder approach to continuously set, monitor, and evaluate SOE performance in relation to commercial and development objectives. That's just a lot of word salad for we're gonna make sure that the SOEs perform. And that's pretty much all you need to know about that. A group that will ensure the commercial sustainability of SOEs with minimum and no reliance on the fiscus. How that's going to work, I have no idea. The development of an appropriate capital structure for the holding company to ensure profitability and sustainability of each SOE. Okay. There's no details. Like, this is all like what they would like, what the, like, there's no explanation as to how they're going to achieve this, right? But I think we can all see the writing on the wall. What's basically happening now is, right, the same people that took SOEs, okay, and bankrupted nearly every single SOE in this country, okay, have decided to make a bigger SOE, okay? This group of SOEs, okay? This company that's going to basically own all the SOEs, okay? And this company is going to somehow make money that's not going to rely on the fiscus, okay? And then we'll distribute to the other SOEs, okay? And also ensure, I think it's written here somewhere. Let me, yes, okay. So, we'll ensure that the governance of SOEs is carried out in a transparent and accountable manner with a high degree of professionalism and effectiveness. The same people that messed up the country are being trusted, not even trusted, they're just doing this. They don't care, they're just doing this, all right? The same people who messed up the country are making another SOE to try and fix their problem, okay? The same people, why? Okay. You know what it's like? It's like you it's like you're a bank, all right? Just go with me on this, all right? You're a bank, all right? Let's pretend for a second you're a bank. You have a vault in your bank that holds a lot of money, okay? And you get robbed. So this heist happens, and somehow the security was flawed, whatever, millions get stolen, all right? And instead of, I don't know, figuring out maybe getting a better vault or higher security, what do? You go to the robbers and you say, listen, can you make our security system better? And the robbers go, oh yeah, wink, wink, we'll do that. What makes you think that the robbers are actually going to make your security system better? Right? That's not going to happen. If anything, you're just giving them the keys to the vault. And this is exactly what we're doing right now. The ANC is basically taking the keys to these SOEs, and they're going to milk every last cent out of them. I can't anymore. Oh. That's it. That's all the headlines I had for tonight. As we 20 minutes until my guest arrives, ladies and gentlemen. My guest is from Billion, and he is going to talk to us about why we should invest in gold and what the safety is in gold. Not gonna lie, I'm thinking about making some moves myself. Investing into gold, why not? We'll see what we can do. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought of these headlines, man, because some of this stuff, it's just, I see no hope. The best thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, as Ramon and Big Daddy Liberty, both of my friends say, and Afriform and a lot of other people say, protect yourself, all right? Get state-proof, build a community, get to know your neighbor. Because when shit hits the fan, we're going to have only ourselves to rely on, ladies and gentlemen. And the more I watch things go down in South Africa, the more I realize that's probably going to happen. There is a safety kind of, I don't know, man. I'm cautiously optimistic about the 2024 election year. I do think, and there's a lot of analysts that say that the ANC will lose power, if not be will be forced to have a coalition government. And who knows, maybe things will look better after 2024. But as long as the ANC is there, I don't think so. I think we're going to see a lot of turmoil for the next decade at least, no matter which way you slice it. And hopefully Cape Independence will happen. But we'll see. We'll see how things turn out. Speaking of which, I need to get Phil Craig on the show soon. But yeah. So, yeah. Actually, IT security companies do hire the criminals. Yeah, but there's white hat hackers and black hat hackers, right? I'm talking about criminals that are just criminals. So yeah. Can you ask Deon why the price of gold has dropped by 20%? Well, stick around and ask him yourself. Yeah, but I think he's going to make an argument that you mustn't look at gold as a short-term thing, but a long-term thing, and that's the thing with gold. Gold is not going to be I'm going to invest today, in a month's time I get to make money. No, that it's a long-term investment, not a short-term. So yeah. Even Zach is like, it'll go up soon. Yeah, I think so too. So how are you guys doing? I will be I am going to be back on Thursday evening with Comedians Roast the Headlines. So yeah. And that should be fun. Yeah, Comedians Roast the Headlines is going to be a fun evening. So yeah. I'm buying Krugerrands. Okay. That sounds nice. Zach always has like a new profile pic like almost every time he's on the show. Have you noticed that? Look at this. Let me see if I can enlarge this and get a better look at the... Is that as big as it's gonna get? Hold on. That's what she said. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so I don't think that looks like George Clooney. No. I got my car back. Congratulations. Got his car back. Look at that profile pic. It looks like George Clooney. Do you look like George Clooney, dude? And it says wife, best wife in the world. Aw. I can't believe I can read that. Yeah, I know the lady is your wife, but the guy is a guy next to her. But yeah, let me just make that like that again. Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, I do this and that, and then. No, he doesn't look like George Clooney. He wishes he looks like George Clooney. That's why. I'm just teasing. I don't care. So yeah. That's me and my wife. Well, then you kind of look like George Clooney, dude. Not gonna lie. George Clooney and the Joker. Pretty much. Yeah. Batman and the Joker. Wasn't George Clooney Batman once? I mean, hey, there you go, right? People say I look like the new Magnum PI. Okay, now I've got to Google Magnum PI. Let's see. I had a feeling. Oh, not. Yeah, I don't think. Sorry, wrong button. I don't think you look like this guy. No. I don't think. No, that's not. No. The new Magnum PI is this guy. Apparently, people say you look like the new Magnum PI. Okay. I think I look like the new Magnum PI, dude. Zach, you see? I look like him. Look at that. If I lose more weight, I'll look even more like him. All right. Trying to have the same face. I don't know if I'm pulling it off, but yeah. Let me see. Let me see your thing here. Let's see. Does he look like the new Magnum PI? Does he? Actually, yeah, maybe a little bit, sort of, kind of, maybe if you squint your eyes. If you squint your eyes really closely and really tightly, maybe. People in Miami say I look like him. People in Miami need to look at George Clooney. That's what they need to do. No, I'm kidding. All right, well, I don't know. I'm going off a picture that you've made black and white. I don't know. But anyway, let's see. Maybe slightly. I don't know. Magnum PI. What is the new Magnum PI like? Not that I've watched the old one. So yeah. No, it's the hairstyle. Ew, okay. I need to cut my hair. So I need to cut my hair. I need to cut my hair. I need to cut my hair. Yeah. Anyway, sorry that there's a bit of a lull. I thought the headlines were going to take a bit longer to get through. But, and there's really nothing else for me to chat about. There's nothing new. I went to gym today, if anybody's wondering. I do keep people updated on my TikTok account and Instagram every now and again. I'm actually quite tired, if I'm honest. Better than MacGyver. Really? I thought MacGyver was cool, man. But then again, I don't know. I should probably watch it. I should probably give it a try. Who's watched the new Resident Evil? Anybody into Resident Evil? Who's watched the new one? I'm talking about the new one. Let me show you so that nobody gets confused. Okay. Resident Evil. I mean, I didn't even know that they were doing a series until Netflix showed it. Where is... I mean, there's even a new movie. Witness the beginning of evil. Oh wait, no, that's the movie. There's like a new movie, which I don't even know if I'm happy about. Like, I just want them to remake it like properly. You know what I mean? Like, stop messing around with storylines and being weird about it. Just remake it like a game, man. And I mean, like, they had such an opportunity with the series, right? The series could have just followed the game, but no. They had to go ham on that crap. Where is the normal? There we go. I found it. This one. There we go. Have you all seen the new Resident Evil? Yeah. The new MacGyver dress. Is it the new MacGyver? I didn't even know that. Yeah, I watched it all, Zach. I watched it all. Yeah. I watched it all. Okay, I'll give it this. The liquors were cool. The liquors were like the highlight. And not because, like, it had nothing to do with their timing in the series or anything like that. I'm just saying the liquors looked badass. They were cool. There was a spider, like a gigantic spider. There was, yeah, storyline was bad. Storyline was really bad. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who has. I mean, go watch it. Maybe you'll like it. I didn't like it. Let me put it for you this way: if you're a fan of the games, and you watch this series, you're going to be disappointed. You will be disappointed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my guest has arrived a little bit early, and he's in the green room. So I am going to bid you all a farewell momentarily. I'm not going to go away forever. Um, and we're going to go on a short break as we get set up for the next part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Deon Rebello is joining me, and he has a company which deals with investing in metals, specific metals, of course, not just any metals, metals that are valuable. And he would like to offer a case as to why you should be investing in gold or silver or platinum, I think is the other one. But we're going to talk a little about that. And last time I had him on the show, we were talking about kind of the same thing, but apparently there's some updates that he has for us, and we're going to get into that as well. They've done a bit of experimenting, and they've run some numbers, but he's going to explain all this in the next half of the show, ladies and gentlemen. So please stick around, don't go anywhere. We will be back after this short break. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's break time. Don't go anywhere, I want to share some announcements. Firstly, as you saw, I have a one-man show stand-up comedy special. Please book your tickets as soon as possible. There is limited seating. Tickets also include a meal. Oh, and the show is directed by the legend Barry Hilton. Avoid disappointment and book your tickets now. Just follow the link in the description, ladies and gentlemen, where you will find all the information. And secondly, please consider becoming a member to this channel. It goes a long way to supporting me and the channel. And for as little as $60, you can become a member to this channel and get exclusive perks. Just check out the join button below for all the details. And if you don't want to become a member, that's absolutely fine. Don't forget that you can also donate by giving a super chat, or sasa chats as we call them on this channel, or you can use super thanks to also donate to this channel. All donations are greatly appreciated. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are just tuning in, don't go anywhere. This is just a short break. The show will be starting again shortly, so enjoy the rest of the show. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet already. Thanks.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Joe Emilio Show. I'm your host, Joe Emilio, and with me, as promised, is Deon Rebello, ladies and gentlemen. Deon, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, tell the people who you are in case they don't know.
How's it, Joe? And hi to all your guests. My name's Deon Rebello, and I am the CEO and founder of DCX Bullion. We are a bullion business, and specifically into physical precious metals, namely gold, silver, and platinum. And the history of the business was I got involved in this where I started to realize that things were changing in the world. Being into my 40s now, I started to see that how we were brought up to believe what was good, solid investments and things like that could be lost literally overnight. And, growing up in the early 90s, seeing the rand to dollar, under 10 rand. In fact, it was closer to 5 in the early 90s. And, where it's now just gone right to the opposite end, and we're heading close to now 20 rand to the dollar. And it also made me realize that we've got a big problem in this country, that we firstly are a country that is volatile in economically, but also politically. And anything happens in this country, and the rand it gets hammered for it. So, I originally started the business with the intention, and funny enough, we started with just mainly silver as a precious metal commodity, and we slowly started to see that we needed to look at a further investments, what people actually needed physically in their hands. What separates gold or silver or platinum? And I mean, I've got a couple of coins with me. That's a gold ounce there. Let me just find the camera. Everything's backwards. Yes. So that's a gold ounce there, you can see. And the lovely part with gold versus any other commodity and silver is that there's a value to it. It's intrinsic value. It's tangible. You can touch it. You can feel it. You can hold it. And the world we're living in is starting to show us a lot of massive uncertainty. And where gold and silver have always been, they've always been a form of currency. As long as man has been trading, we've always utilized silver and gold as a form of exchange. Right up until 1971, when Richard Nixon decided to remove the dollar from the gold standard, effectively uncoupling currencies from a physical metal. And that allowed literally the slippery slope that we are on now. We led all the way through to now, to early 2020, and we had the COVID lockdowns and everything else that happened with that. And all the governments have been doing, and this is internationally, so the Fed, our local reserve bank, and all the reserve banks from each country around the world have been trying to minimize the damage of what COVID, the lockdowns did, is by pushing currency money into their economies to stop them from crumbling. The biggest problem with that is money, when you start to print it unlimited in volume, it has to have a knock-on effect. And just to contextualize that, in 2020, and the dollar its inception was in 1913. From that point to now, in 1 year, 21% of all the dollars were made in 2020. 21% of all the dollars ever printed were printed in 1 year. So when we talk about massive quantitative easing, which we were told is what they were doing, there's a big problem, and we could start to see, and now we're dealing with the ramifications. COVID has started to lessen, and now we've gone into a world where suddenly Russia went into war with the Ukraine. Regardless of your political, your beliefs of if it's right or wrong and who's right or wrong, there's still an effect in the world. I mean, we just heard now with Russia now not allowing wheat to be, exported out of the Ukraine. That will limit some of the food shortages. We look at fuel. A lot of the American oil refineries were specifically designed to refine Russian oil. And you get different grades of oil. Now, of course, they've got their own oil within the States, but the oil they were importing was mainly Russian oil. So we've seen massive shortages of oil. We've seen oil reach massive high proportions, over $120 a barrel. And it's just been spiraling out of control. What does that do? That affects the money in our pocket. And how's that directly affected? Fuel prices go up. I mean, this year alone, we've seen massive jumps. I mean, just my vehicle, which is an 80-liter tank, diesel tank. I mean, at the beginning of this year, it was around 1,600, around 1,700 rand a tank. I'm now sitting at 2,500 to 2,300 rand a tank.
Okay.
And that gives me 800 kilometers. So it's not a lot, but these are the realities. But importantly, and when I also speak about food shortages now in the States, and I read this article a couple of weeks ago in the New York Times, where they were actually saying that people must be aware that we are expecting more food shortages globally. And that's not just because of the war. It's because it's very simple. And in America, a lot of their farming is mechanized. And if you got sub-profitable crops, you're not going to be planting those. They're not going to be planted because they're going to be looking for crops that are actually going to bring them a decent return to survive. And so we're going to have massive shortages. I just saw here, Zach mentioned the petrodollar. Yes, there's big things going on right now. With Russia invading the Ukraine, effectively the BRIC nations, and we the small S on BRICS. And the important thing there is, yes, China has been sitting in the background. They've been watching what's going on, and they're probably one of the biggest benefactors of what's going on in the world right now. Because yes, we know that the world has been heavily reliant on the US dollar as a global form of exchange, and it's been that for a number of decades. And now this is slowly starting to change, where the uncoupling of the US dollar, where countries are asking for their payments not to be in dollars. I mean, Russia was insisting that they have payment within gold and things like that. And China also with the yuan and things like that. So there are a lot of things going on. But when we go back to my business, and we are, what was the biggest driver in my business was see my father work. He started his own business and he built it up. And he had partners. He lost the business. He rebuilt it up when I was a young child. But I also started to see that he had spent years and years investing in a retirement annuity, which we commonly know as an RA. And thinking, okay, by the end of his life, or when he gets to that point that he chooses to retire, there's going to be this nest egg. And as we all told, take out an RA, you need to look after yourself. And, as we started to look at this with the business, it's been a question that was bugging me for a while. And we actually then broke it down, and we utilized my own RA, which is a very well-established company within South Africa as far as from the investment side. And that RA specifically, I've been investing into just short of 13 years. And Joe, the findings were quite shocking. And why I say that is, if I see what my premiums were on a monthly basis from 2009 to where we are now, and what the value is versus the total premiums. And then what we did is we took that same projection, utilizing the same premiums, but purchasing physical gold. And what I mean by that is we took spot price and we put a percentage above that. And then we projected that over the same period of time. And the interesting thing is, and I've got some slides I can actually show you if you like, and we can actually go through those. But the amazing thing is, it's very clear. There was two very clear things that came out of this research that we did. Is firstly, South Africans, and we all do, have a majority of our wealth based in rands. And the longer we maintain having that exposure to rand-based investments, the more we're going to be exposed to massive losses in wealth over the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I will qualify that with a couple of things where we brought some examples of other countries. We also got to look at South Africa, Joe. I mean, we know we are in trouble. We've all just experienced load shedding, which is blackouts. Let's be blunt. And, this could have been avoided if the right institutional infrastructures were, from the beginning, were updated, were maintained, were upgraded. And, unfortunately, that's been one of the biggest problems is there's a lot of political keenness to do these things, but as far as execution, it falls short. And there's also a lot of people, for instance, very bluntly, even with the load shedding, it was a union strike, a base strike that caused this. And of course, the people just decide not to do work. And of course, that affects the full country. And the country is literally brought to its knees to change a difference in what they were asking for in percentage on wage. Sure, we are all battling right now. And as I said, just on my fuel tank, I mean, we go to the shops, we see what if inflation is doing to the money we own or have. If you look at this time last year, what you were buying in the shops to what you're buying now, same things. It's all gone up. I mean, I was looking today. Willie's had a special, and it's buy three for this price. And 3 months ago, it was for 70 rand, and now it's 85 rand. And it's these small creep ups that are happening, and it's happening all over. And
Well, you
sad.
can an example I always like to use is beer, right? Because I remember in 2009, 10, somewhere there, when the FIFA World Cup was here,
Yes.
and I was going out. It was a very celebratory vibe with the World Cup. Everybody was going out, having a good time, and I remember beer being like 10 rand, 10 rand. Now it's like more than double. Now it's like, I don't know. It's like 22, maybe 25. I don't know. I haven't been to a bar in a while, but it's like more than doubled.
But not even that, Joe. I mean, I remember. Okay, let's give my age away, but I already said I'm in my mid 40s. But I actually remember going out in the mid to late 90s, and I mean, you'd buy a 6 pack of beer, and I don't know, we're talking about beer now, but it would cost 20 rand for a six
For a
pack.
6 pack. Oh my word.
That same 6 packs are, I think, $100 right
Yeah.
now
A
or more.
hundred, just over 100. Just over 100. It's
So,
like 109
so
or something.
yeah, exactly. And what's interesting, what we're talking about here is inflation.
Jeez.
So, what the power of our money is now and what it's worth tomorrow. And this is exactly what this whole thing was about. So, as I said, what we went and did is we took and it is my RA, so I can say, and we back everything with numbers. So everything has been 100% verified. It's 100% correct. So there's nothing sensational about what we're talking about here. But what we're going to stress and emphasize is people need to start reconsidering how they hold their wealth. Do I say to sell everything and just buy gold and hold it? That wouldn't be a wise decision either. But what this is about is negating a lot of that inflation. Now we know in dollar terms, gold has given a return for the last 50 years of in dollars a compound return of 8%. 9 rands, that's nearly double. In fact, over the last 20 years, in rand terms, gold has given a 21% return, and that's probably better. And that's probably a better return than most other available investments right now. And this is all. I mean, this is all stuff that I'm talking about is available. You can. This can all be verified. I see Matthew was talking about something cheap stuff. Okay,
No,
no.
he's just making a joke. It's he's my resident troll. Don't pay him any attention. Um, no, I'm
But
kidding. He
if you
jokes around a lot.
No, no, listen, you know what? It's got to be light-hearted, and this is the format of your show.
Yeah.
And the important thing also is that what I'm talking about is serious. And it is great that we talking about beer and that, because we're talking about economics here. We're talking about, at the end of the day, the value of what 100 rand costs us today and what it'll be worth tomorrow. It's that simple. And we spend our lives, and this is what an RA is, a return, it is a vehicle that I spent the last 13 years putting funds into every single month, and believing by the end of it, by the time I retire within the next 10, 15 years, there's going to be this massive nest egg. And the truth is that's not. And very simply, I mean, what I can do is I can show, if you like, I can just actually show you. Can I share screen? Joe, I can't hear you. I've lost you.
Sorry, I had myself on mute. Yeah, no, you can check on your side. I think you can. There should be a button somewhere, but if you can't, I can also quickly show it. I did get your. I'll show it from the email you guys sent me. Let me
I can
just.
share here quickly. I think it's here. Let me just see.
Let me just. I think it's this one. Yeah, the newsletter was in the newsletter. Yeah. So.
Can you see that, Joe? Can you see that?
Oh yes, here we go. Let me see. Okay, just give me a second. There we go. There's you. Okay.
Okay, so you can see the slide I'm showing you. So that's the breakdown, but I'll finish off on that. So what was interesting is we looked at the full premium since 2009 until current. And total premiums paid to date was 150,331 rand and 83 cents. The value, so in other words, the money that investment has made me over the last nearly 13 years is 25, literally short of 25,000 rand. In other words, 174,427. That
Jeez.
had a performance of about 16%. What was interesting is we then took this and we converted it into dollars. So those premiums paid over the same time. And what you'll see is on the right hand side, your actual premiums paid outweighed your investment because of the devaluation of the rand. I'll expand on that a little bit just now. But just this is the interesting part here. Over that same period, if we had gone and invested those same premiums from 2009 to now, you would be sitting on a value of just short of 230,000 rand. I mean, and that is the difference. If you look at that in dollar terms, same thing. Sorry, if you look at it in dollar terms, it's the same thing. I mean, in fact, it's greater. And this was a devaluation of the rand to the dollar over that. You must remember in 2009, the dollar was around 7 rand to the dollar. And we're now sitting on close to, there's been a bit of a pullback, but I think the dollar is on around 16.90 right now.
Yeah.
But interesting is that difference of that. But what we then also did, Joe, is we actually looked at, and we did this last year already. We looked at Argentina. Now, Argentina in January of 2020, their peso, Argentinian peso to the dollar, was 59 pesos to the dollar. In June of 2020, they defaulted. They had a sovereign default. And for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's simply the government was unable to repay the interest on the loans that they had taken out in order to support or maintain their economy from collapsing. They could no longer pay the interest of those loans, and they then defaulted.
Yeah.
We now fast forward over the next year, 2.5 years, which we've just gone over 2.5 years since, or 2 years to June. And the peso currently sitting at, if I remember, I think it was 100, yeah, it was 130 odd pesos to the dollar right now. So that is devaluation and that. So what we actually went and did is we did a very quick thing, and I'm just going to go through all of this, is there's the numbers and figures. And what we then did is we said, if you'd invested 1 million pesos into gold in January of 2020, and you'd held it in, just say, bought 1 million pesos worth of gold and literally held it in vault or at home or wherever, you'll see you would have a 11 ounces of gold if you bought on the 1st of January 2020. What's interesting is the current value of that gold in pesos is nearly 2.5 million pesos. So literally in 2 years, it's literally more than doubled in its value. So while the economy has been crashing and the peso has fallen to the dollar and the buying power. So in other words, and we also looked at the same thing as if you kept 1 million pesos in the bank, in an Argentinian bank, and you're holding your wealth there, hoping and believing that the peso would survive what was happening. That current value would be probably around just under 600,000 pesos that would be left in actual purchasing power. And just very simply, I mean, that shows you a massive thing when it comes to, I just want to, that shows you a massive thing when it comes to currency devaluation. And this is where, like I said, with the RAs, what really concerned us was as soon as we started to look at the effects of the dollar and we started to see how our wealth is actually lost. I mean, for me to have an investment that I put over 13 years and I'm literally sitting with 25,000 rand, effectively I've lost money. If you take that you take that 25,000 rand as in my return on my investment, my ROI, and you put that over the 13 years with the depreciation of the rand to the dollar, effectively I've lost money.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, in 10, 15 years from now, what is a 1 million rand going to be worth? As you
Not
see
much.
in the Argentinian thing, 1 million pesos in buying power is 600,000 pesos. Yet that same 1 million pesos purchased in that January of 2020 is worth 2.5 million pesos. So simply, this is what this is all about. And please, you guys, you're more than welcome to go onto our website. We have got the whole newsletter on there. So you can just go to www.dcxbullion.com, go to the newsletter section, and you'll actually see the whole email, the whole newsletter on this. It's very interesting reading, and we're constantly looking at ways to make people aware that what we believe is wealth sometimes needs to be rechecked and reconsidered. And that's where we're coming from. And if we see where the world is going right now, we know there's massive uncertainty. Inflation in the States has literally gone through the roof. So same with England. I mean, now the next part is we now start to get interest rates coming in to try slow down this inflation. But in turn, that affects our buying power. So it's a vicious circle. And, we, as I mentioned, South Africa as a country, we are also sitting on that edge of a sovereign default. I've given you the Argentinian, example. How far are we from that? Interesting enough, I mean, in October of 2020, when Tito Mboweni was the then finance minister, he, at the midterm speech, the midterm budget speech, he had mentioned that for every rand that government spent then, 21 cents was going to repay the interest on the loans that that the government had secured.
Yeah, I
And
remember
that's
that.
literally nearly 2 years ago. Where are we now? I mean, January we got another loan from the IMF. I think it was for 750 million US dollars. We put that into rands; it's in the billions. And this is just keeps printing out. And what's interesting is that when that was released in January, I remember listening to 702, which is our local talk show in Joburg. I know down in Cape Town you got Cape Talk and that. And Bruce Whitfield was the guy on the show, and he was asking the Reserve Bank, one of the Reserve Bank guys, so with this investment that the IMF has, this money, can you just discuss the South African debt to GDP ratio and how that's been affected? And he literally sidestepped the question. He said, this money is going to bring, with people and the grants and all this stuff, it's going to help to alleviate all this stuff. And he didn't even answer the question, because right now our debt to GDP ratio is sitting around 78. It actually had gone above that and had been pulled back. But even as, we are a developing nation, and to have our debt to GDP ratio at this level, and it's still projected to run higher, which is quite interesting. If you see where it's projected to be around 2025, we should be roughly into the 90s in percent.
Oh boy.
Now, as a first world country, say as the States or the UK, their debt to GDP ratios are far higher. In fact, the UK is about 108%. Yet they got the infrastructure and the economy to support that kind of debt. We
Yes.
don't. And we see how things are failing. We see how the municipalities are not delivering. There are potholes there as far as Eskom, all the SOEs. There's massive, massive failings. And the biggest problem here is when, like I know, Cyril just came out yesterday saying, they want to look at the whole power issue. And I think it's great that we are looking at alternative energy sources. And being someone that is in the precious metal space, and I think I might have discussed this with you the last time, is, we have platinum as one of the metals that we do look at. And of the three metals that we do sell, both silver and platinum have big, big industrial applications. In fact, in the green economy that we're moving towards, and that's going to be slowed up because of what's happening right now with the war in Russia and Ukraine, and just the global war with inflation. Industrial things will start to slow down.
Yeah.
But platinum has a massive, massive demand within that green economy, especially specifically with hydrogen.
Yeah.
And those are like the things. I mean, so we've looked at these things. I mean, if you'd asked me 3, 4 years ago, and I come from a mining background, from a manufacturing side, and I saw platinum peak around 2008, and then it completely crashed, where there's a massive move in the autocat market away from platinum into palladium. And that's where the whole platinum price crashed, because of that natural move across.
Yeah.
Now, interesting enough, Russia has the biggest supply of palladium in the world, and South Africa has the biggest supply of platinum.
Okay.
And we know Russia's got two problems right now. The one is war, and the second is permafrost. And why I say that is Russia, when I first learned about permafrost, I thought it was a few meters deep. You know, and actually we're talking hundreds of meters deep. In fact, full mines, their full infrastructure was mined in that permafrost. We're talking hundreds of meters deep. Now that's all melting, and we know with a mine the biggest problem from a production perspective is water. If you got too much water, you can't be blasting and removing the ore. So you literally, that was where platinum was already. And I'm talking about nearly 2 years ago. There's a massive shift away from platinum to palladium to platinum from an investment perspective. So people started to see something was going on. And now with the war, of course, that stopped a lot of the Russia having access to palladium. So that's also shot it up. And what's interesting now is platinum has definitely gained some more ground on that side. There is massive, massive demands for it. Same with silver. Silver has the highest heat and electrical conductivity of any metal.
Yeah.
In fact, the biggest demand for silver right now is solar panels, and the two biggest countries in demand is India and China. They're the two biggest economies and populations in the world. Not economies, but two biggest populations in the world. And their demand just on solar panels, they're talking around a 20% growth over the next 2 to 3 years. So we're talking millions upon millions of ounces of just being poured into silver. I know people are going to say, but yes, if you look at the gold and silver price right now, and even platinum, everything's come right down, and they're at exceptionally low prices right now.
But
And
then
yes,
it's the time to buy.
this is the best time to buy right now. And this is another thing, Joe, that I really need to emphasize to people. When purchasing physical metal, precious metals, it's not buying today to sell tomorrow.
Yes.
Mind shift of buying and holding.
Yeah.
And this is what's very important, is that ounce of silver in 5, 10, 15 years from now may be valued at $100 an ounce. I mean, when I matriculated in 94, gold was around $400 an ounce. If you'd said to me then that we'd see gold go to $2,000 an ounce, it just seemed like too far to believe. And now, I mean, they're talking about gold has the growth by the end of this decade, which we now nearly is coming up to less than 8 years away from the end of this decade. They're talking about gold conservatively being projected to around $2,700 an ounce. That's fine, but that's in dollars. Where will the rand be in 2030?
Yeah.
I can tell.
But just very quickly, because there's a question here. Bebop Williams is asking about silver. He actually asked two questions about silver. So just let me find
Yes.
the other question that he had. Okay, so the first one was Deon, what is going with the silver price? Silver billion. Does the value come? Sorry, where does the value come from, since it will not be physically used in an application?
Okay, Bebop, just expand on that question, but I kind of think we are going with that. Okay, you got to look at it like this. If you look at the gold market in total value, we talking trillions of dollars are being exchanged and bought or sold within the gold market on a daily basis. The silver market is a far smaller market. So when there is we saw this last year in January, February, where Wall Street bets,
Mm.
the Reddit groups decided that they're going to squeeze silver, like the brothers in America in 1980, and where they both decided they literally bought out all the silver and they created a massive spike, which in today's terms would be equivalent to about $150 an ounce. And what's interesting is the Reddit Wall Street Bets groups did the same thing. Is they started purchasing physical silver. This caused a massive surge. It went over $30 an ounce. There's a massive retract. And again, we've seen this. It also again when peaked up into the high 20s over the beginning of this year towards May, and there's been quite a pullback. And people need to understand this. We are in the midst of a massive economic correction. Now, I can choose my words saying, is it a recession? Is it a depression? But if I look at a lot of reputable economists, some of them are talking about an 80% correction.
Mm-hmm.
What would that mean? That is the equivalent to a Great Depression in market movement and correction. Now, just to qualify that also is if you look at the S&P 500, and I remember we discussed this the last time.
Yeah.
Basically, the S&P 500 is a barometer or an indicator of the top 500 companies within America. There's a weighting, so it's not exactly the top 500, but the top 500 companies that are weighted within that S&P. And what's interesting, last year alone, there were 47 all-time highs of the S&P 500. So last year, it was just going up, going up, going up. And it doesn't make sense if you consider that prior to that, the world was under lockdown. Production, all those kind of things were not, there was very little activity.
Mm.
Yes, we had quantitative easing, and this is what was happening is a lot of those companies were receiving funds to keep them afloat. But now that effectively has caused a bubble, to simply put it. And we're at that point now where literally things will correct themselves. So what does that mean? If you have all your wealth in fiat-based currencies, so that's the rand, the dollar, the pound, the euro, you name them, those are all fiat-based currencies. We are going to lose massive value or wealth within those fiat currencies. And again, this is why I say if you had your wealth or portions of your wealth in physical bullion, be it gold, silver, or platinum, you will then at least mitigate that. So now the question is, why has silver fallen? If we look at gold and silver, now we've seen all across the markets, there's been massive pullbacks on everything. Everything's dropped by 30%, 20%, and there's been a massive drop. Now, the natural point is after the correction actually comes into play, the first things that will naturally be gravitated towards from an investment perspective will be gold and silver because they are money. They are natural, tangible money. And a lot of your big investment houses, so the likes of JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, those kind of big investment banks, they would put all their money into gold and that to secure the devaluation of their funds. And that will then start to escalate gold. So right now, yes, they are pulling back. There are a lot of pullbacks, and that's not a bad thing. As you said earlier, this is probably the best time to be buying. I cannot believe that you'll see silver at these prices or gold. I mean, the fact that it's down into 1,700 right now is a perfect time to be buying.
Well,
And again,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but like I'm definitely because I told you last time we were on that I was gonna invest, but I just
yeah,
needed finances to be all right to do so, and I'm definitely gonna get in touch with you guys in the next few days to just start doing that. I think it's time, and everybody else knows. I don't know if you know, Deon, but I did announce it on my channel that I'm going to be a dad at the beginning of next year. So thank you. So I got to start making sound investments for the future of the family. So yeah, you'll definitely get a message from me. What would you suggest? Because like I don't have a lot of money. I really don't. Is there an
So right
option
now,
where we can do a
people don't
monthly
have a lot of
thing?
money.
Is there a thing where we can do a monthly thing? Do you offer
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so Joe, and firstly, congratulations. I mean,
Thank
I'm
you.
a father of three children,
Oh
and
wow.
they are my world. And you are starting a whole new journey, and it's very exciting. But the lovely thing with this is we also know that, when we talk gold, silver, especially gold, it seems like it's for the wealthy. And, we always were mindful of that. And that's when, I said there has to be a better way to do this where the average person in the street can access gold, can access bullion, and can access the physical product. There's no point in owning this and holding this, and it costs 30,000 rand. An ounce of gold right now is around 30,000 rand.
Sure. That's a
I
lot.
don't have 30,000 rand right now. I've invested everything into my business to make sure that I can give the best possible service, the best possible client experience. And, so we developed a product called the MMC, which is your monthly medallion club. Again, you can go onto a website, you can sign up there, you can create your profile. The lovely thing is we offer packages on package one on silver at 375, platinum at 450, and gold at 500 rand. And the amazing thing with our product versus any other product on the market right now is it's not a savings. So you're not putting money into it until you get to the value of an ounce. You will then have that ounce, which we can either deliver to you with Skynet, or we can hold it in vault, which is free vaulting and insurance with Fidelity, who are our actual partners. But the lovely thing with this is, Joe, and now as you got a child, and you need to think about this, is look to maybe get one of those packages just for that little bambino. And every month you build up, and as they grow, those grams keep growing. And the amazing thing with this, and this is a difference with this product versus anyone else, is they gram. So on a monthly basis, we are purchasing grams on your behalf. The thing with gold and platinum is, by law, as lay people, we can't hold any unfinished item of gold or gold or platinum. Silver, you can. You can hold silver dust, silver granules, bars, coins, you name it. But gold, it has to be a finished item, be it a Krugerrand or a sovereign coin of some sort, or a medallion or a little bar or things like that. So, and the same applies to platinum. The problem with bars for both platinum and gold is they got to be serialized. There's got to be a full paper trail, and there's a whole lot of issues with them. So they're not easily movable. So say you choose to want to leave tonight, fly to South Africa with portions of your wealth for whatever reason. There's limitations on it. Same thing with Krugerrands. They are a sovereign coin. They've always been a very strong brand within the bullion space, but they are a sovereign coin. You, as a South African, will only ever own the value of a Krugerrand. You'll actually never own the Krugerrand. It's government property. So it's like the notes in your wallet. They essentially belong to the government. If you deface or damage a note, you will be arrested. The same thing applies to a Krugerrand. The concern there is simply, in order for you to leave South Africa with, say, your Krugerrands, and I had a client who invested over R1 million worth of Krugerrands, and by law, with the SARS clearance, you can only take 10 Krugerrands out with you. That is a limitation. Now, we prefer, and we do sell Krugerrands, but we do suggest to look at medallions. Now, what is a medallion? Medallions fall into the same category and class as collector coins and jewelry. So we do, for instance, on gold, we do a tenth of an ounce, which is a small little 3.2 gram ounce, 3.2 gram, 24 karat gold. So it's 999.9 fine gold. We then do a quarter ounce, a half ounce, a 1 ounce, which is 32.151 grams. And we go right up to a kilogram of gold, which is literally the size of my hand and weighs a kilogram. That kilogram of gold right now is valued at about R1 million. The difference with this is you can take that kilogram of gold in the form of a medallion, you can put it in a box, and you can leave fly in an airplane tonight, and by law, you're not breaking any laws. You don't need, because it is classified as a personal use item. So again, we've looked at what is the best things to invest in, and we looked at medallions. So go back to the MMC. The MMC is, we base it on an ounce. So be it whichever package you choose to invest in. Once you achieve an ounce, we, like I said, we can either get it delivered to you with Skynet, and it's insured delivery to your doorstep. But we are living in South Africa. I've had a lot of clients say to me, they'll have a few things at home just for in case, and then the rest I must keep, and that's why we utilize Fidelity. They're world class. They're the biggest security company on the continent and the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere. The lovely part with Fidelity also is they upscale their security to meet our needs and demands. So if we ever have to do a big delivery of big sums of money, we could have air support, ground support, you name it, and they will deliver it, meet us on that. So we've really looked at that. And same thing with Skynet. I mean, we've had unbelievable service from Skynet, where they literally deliver to your door. It's fully insured. So we really make sure that you as a user, your bullion, your investment is completely protected at all times. And that's it. Like I said, the lovely thing is that package every month may seem insignificant. And who actually inspired this whole MMC product of ours was a lady, and I'll just call her Barbara from Langebaan. And every single month, she would buy an ounce of silver from me. I just want to see if I can get it there. Yeah. So that's our big five. Yeah. So every month she would I'd deliver an ounce of silver to her. There you can see. I just want to turn that around. Oh, see, everything's in reverse. Okay, so that says, it basically says double 9.9 fine silver. So it's the highest grade of silver you can get. As I mentioned, triple 9.9 fine gold. It is 24 karat gold. I mean, I had a client who I delivered. He bought, I think 8 ounces of gold. And he phoned me. He's like, I just want to let you know you've changed my life in the way I think about things. And I said, the great thing with that ounce of gold, and he is young, he's in his early 20s. I said, you can take one of those to a jeweler when you meet the woman that you want to marry, and you can say, make that into a ring for me.
That's true.
And
yeah.
It's 24 karat gold. You cannot get a high purity. The lovely part with also that medallion is I can take it anywhere in the world. And based on the international price, I will get that price internationally. So if I am in New York, in Shanghai, in Perth, in London, in Paris, or wherever, the value of that is maintained. And I'll go back to it. In 5 years from now, where will the rand be? How much of your wealth do you want to be in rands when we know that the rand is falling? Look at but Joe, look at that Argentinian thing.
Yeah.
That in 2.5 years, if you'd invested 1 million pesos in gold, you'd have I think it was 11.2 ounces of gold. That value now in pesos is 2.5 million pesos. The same value, if you kept it in a bank, which you believe, we've been told that these are safe institutions, would be worth under 600,000 pesos.
Jeez.
I mean,
it makes you think.
Yeah.
I also want to take a moment and show off my little silver thing that you gifted the show with. So I want to say thank you for the gift. It was really, you didn't have to, but it is greatly appreciated. As you can see, I kept it, and I do value this, and I keep it usually right here in the background, so that some people might notice it or see it. Yeah, it's a real piece of silver.
Yeah. Joe, the lovely thing is that can sit on that shelf for the next 5 years. And yes, right now it's valued at about 400 Rand, roughly. where will the price of silver be in 5, 10 years from now?
Yeah.
I mean, projections go, like I said, the biggest demand is in the photovoltaic market, your solar panels. That's a massive driver. Then we got the electric car and all of that, the whole drive away from fossil fuels. That's going to be a big driver on silver.
Yeah.
But again, these are things that you're putting your money into where they're going to hold value. And then I will say, in 5, 10 years from now, where will the rand be? So yeah, here you're hedging, and I didn't finish the story about Barbara from Langenbahn,
Sorry.
but she literally inspired the whole MMC thing. Like I said, every single month she would buy an ounce from me, and some months she'd phone and say, "Listen, my daughter's getting married. Can I buy 2 ounces?" Or she heard something on the news that scared her, and she'd buy 3 ounces. But what it started to show me was, someone doesn't have, right now, a kilogram of silver would be about 13 to 15,000 rand. I don't have 13 to 15,000 rand, but I've got 400 rand, I've got 500 rand that I could be putting away. Is it going to affect my living? It means that I probably won't be able to go out and have the takeaways on a Friday night, maybe, or there's certain things that we need to relook at.
Yeah.
But what's important is, where do you want your wealth to be in 5, 10 years from now?
Yeah.
So there's got to be certain strategies and certain sacrifices you're going to have to make in order to make sure that you've got some value in it. And that's
Yeah.
that's where that whole thing came from.
So this is, in your opinion, investing in one of these silvers probably, for, I guess, for a greater return on investment, platinum or gold, in terms of like saving up for like a retirement plan, right? I mean, that's where we started this conversation. So,
Yeah.
this, instead of, the pay as you earn, or the whatever other thing you do when you have a job or whatever, into your retirement plan, investing into this. So like, if I invested, let's say, not that I could right now, but let's say someone out there could invest, I don't know, 1,000 rand, 1,500 rand a month for 10 years, that would probably get them close to an ounce of gold, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, very,
um
very quickly.
yeah.
Just on that, I mean, that's if you look at the whole RA exercise we did, my premiums, I think they started at around 600 rand. Currently, they're around about 1,400 rand. So they're there. I mean, that's decent money on a monthly basis going out of my bank account. And the sad thing is, and I love my broker, but he's making the money from the RA. If I'm blunt about it, and we look at it, you look at an RA, and when it comes to maturity, yes, you can have it, but you can only have half.
Yes.
And then we'll pay out the other bits. And what about the performance? Well, the markets didn't go that well, and this is what we project. But I always love their projections are always like sky high, and they're going to do this and that. But interesting enough, like I said to you, everything I've said to you about gold or the performance of bullion is fact.
Yeah.
I mean, go and see. Gold has given a compound return in dollars of 8% for the last 50 years. That is a fact. In South African terms, in the last 20 years, gold has given a 21% return in rands.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So, and that's that. So, what I'd say to you is this: where to invest. Silver is it's more economical, and it's a great entry point into bullion. But I would also say to people, and especially after this RA exercise, do not underestimate the value of gold, especially if we can't afford it.
Yeah.
But you can afford it in small pieces and start to grow those small pieces. If you're looking at 1,500 rand a month, I mean, you will grow those ounces, but you must remember every single month you're purchasing grams from us.
Yeah.
We hold those grams, but you are always the owner of it. So the question is, what happens if I don't get to an ounce and I want to, say, take that money out and spend it on something else? We liquidate it for you on the day when you choose to liquidate that. And what that means is, so say gold is sitting at $1,700 an ounce right now, and you choose to liquidate it in 2 years from now, and you've achieved half an ounce of gold. We will pay you out first on the value of gold on that day.
Yeah.
So if it was at $2,200 an ounce, all those little grams that you've been growing over the last year or whatever becomes more meaningful.
Yeah. That makes
And that's
sense.
the lovely part of it.
And sorry, I had another question now. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was also about gold. Oh, when it comes to someone, whether no matter what they've said, whether it's been an ounce, 2 ounces, whatever, it doesn't matter. And they say, "Cool, I want payout now." Um, does the tax man take a cut?
So Joe, I mean, simply, you must remember we all pay tax, and
That's a yes.
but no. But I will qualify what I'm going to say to you.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is the difference. This is the difference with an investment. So say when I retire, at that with an RA, it gets taxed on the full value, and I then have to pay all that. The difference here is I'd only ever get taxed on whatever wealth I convert from gold into rands.
Okay.
So I can say I've got 20 ounces of gold in 10, 15 years from now, and I want to. I'm telling you now, keep it in gold. But say you do, your maybe be your son or daughter is getting married in 20 years from now, and you want to be able to give them that lovely wedding, and so you say, you know what, I want to cash in 2 or 3 ounces. You can do that. I want to cash in 1 ounce. You can do that. Or you can say, listen, I want to cash in half of it. You can do that. Yes, there's tax implications based on your income and all those things, but it's not that you now have to pay the full tax or CGT on anything like that until you get to certain amounts. Here you can be cashing out or liquidating on bits and pieces, while the rest of it maintains in gold and stays in bullion over time. That's the difference.
Yeah. And is the tax like a large amount, or is it like,
It, it, it depends again on where where your wealth is and your income and things like that. What capital growth, your CGT would be your big the part of that, but that then would determine on what you own. So be it you got how many properties, what's your total income, what's your investments, all those kind of things. They put that all together. But as I'm saying to you right now, realistically, if you buying and you holding into bullion, if you liquidating or cashing out small values, there's a certain threshold that would then actually go
okay, I
under
see.
anyway.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's around 30 odd thousand rand. But again, it depends on which tax structure applies to you or to whoever's listening. So again, we cannot avoid tax. And that's why, we also, one of our other partners is Tax Consulting South Africa, where we do all our fiduciary and statutory questions or anything that we require, from CGT to property to immigration to all of those kind of things, estates. They assist us on that. And again, the important thing is we everything, like I said, and even when you take that kilogram of gold in the form of a medallion, what we're saying to you is not illegal. It's fully legitimate. It's a way of,
Yeah.
of holding your wealth. Whereas I know people, and clients have said, yeah, well, they took more than 10 Kruger Rands. And I was like, yeah, but you could be firstly arrested, and secondly, they can be confiscated. So you want to take that chance?
No, nobody wants to take that chance, I don't think. Just very quickly before we end the show, some comments I want to just bring to your attention. One from Zach saying, "Wife says we're going to speak to this man." Zach's wife has been raving about you apparently in the background. And he has a question for you. He says, "Your website is killing me. I'm trying to order. Keeps telling me I need to fix errors, but there's nothing wrong. Can I get my people to contact the company tomorrow?" Bear in mind, Deon, Zach is in the States. He's in Florida. But he is South
That's
African.
okay. So I'll speak directly to Zach. Zach, just drop an email to info@dcxbullion.com. And there shouldn't have been any errors. It should be quite straightforward. But I'm more than happy. One of my staff will get hold of you via email, And if we even need to, we could set up a Zoom call where we can actually walk you through it if needed. So we're
Awesome.
quite happy. Yeah, Joe, for us, this has always been a customer focused business, and how we even structure our products, even the MMC. I've had clients where their businesses are going through difficulty, yet they don't want to stop their recurring payments. I'm like, we don't penalize you. You can put it on hold every single month for the next 12 months if that's what
Yes.
you require. So we make sure, like I said, even when you want to cash out or liquidate, we are the custodians. We holding your bullion. It does not belong to us. We hold it through fidelity, but it's always yours. You're always the owner of it, 100%.
Yes, and I love that option that you give. I think it's great. I'm just dropping your email into the chat so that Zach can send you an email.
Yeah.
So there it is, Zach. If you want to drop Deon an email, go ahead and do so. Okay, so Deon, as we end off the show, I just want to thank you once again for coming on to the show. I think, judging by a lot of the comments that were coming through, everybody agrees with you. So yeah, I hope that anybody else who watches this in the future will see the benefits of investing in gold or platinum or silver. I'm definitely going to. I'm going to look at your website probably tomorrow morning and make a decision, and probably start that as soon as possible. And yeah, I look forward to experiencing some of this customer service that you're raving about.
The pressure's on, but I love it. I'm more than happy to take that on as a challenge.
And yeah, thanks again, Deon. And look, again, you're welcome back anytime. I think it's always good to have a perspective from the metal side of things and the economy. I mean, you're so well knowledgeable on the economics of the world and what's going on, and you're always keeping an eye on the metals and stuff like this. So this was actually a very interesting conversation. I'm glad to see that you guys got great results from the little experiment, I use that word loosely, that you guys did. And yeah, keep me updated, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
Well, firstly, Joe, it's an absolute honor to be, that you've afforded me this time. And again, as I said, we've kept it very light-hearted, and it needs to be like that. Life is too short to be taken serious all the time.
Yeah.
Yet we got some serious, pressing things. And for anyone that's listening, just take that. Is think about how you are looking after your wealth. Joe, you are about to be a father, and that is such a profound moment. I mean, when that child's born, you will know you will
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying now. Yet you're going to go through your life now, and it's how do we make sure that we make wise decisions?
Yeah.
And these are some of the things we in such an uncertain world right now. And all I'm saying to people is think about where you're keeping your wealth.
Yeah.
And that's what it really comes down to. And thank you again. Yeah, we are always open. Drop me emails. I'm more than happy to answer questions. And again, it's an absolute pleasure, and thanks a million. I do appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Deon. I will remind people that the link to your website is in the description, so people can go check out the website right now. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is Deon's email. If you do want to email him, go right ahead. Once again, Deon, thank you so much. I'll chat to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that was Deon Rebello from Billion. And please go check him out. Please go check out the website. Please, if something tickles your fancy, start making those investments, man. I do think it's wise to have investments in many different pots. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. But I do think that silver, platinum, and gold are a sound investment, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and start making very small investments for the future of my family. And if that's something you want to do as well, then go ahead and do so. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back Thursday evening for Comedians Roast the Headlines, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll be hanging out with you for an hour, and then at 8 o'clock it's Comedians Roast the Headlines. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So, Zach says the best part is they'll keep it for me. That is an awesome feature. So I think, look, I do, Deon's a cool guy, and, he loves what he does, as you can see. So I think it's in safe hands. There's no doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Zach, Matthew, we had Bebop, we had Hindu. Thank you for dropping by. And Cameron, I know, was also here earlier. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back Thursday evening. Until then, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.